Tennessee number 16 in overall talent, according to 247 Sports. And when I first saw that, I thought, man, that seems a little bit low. But I told Caleb at our 3:45 a.m. production meeting, I said, don't tell me what you think, because we might disagree on this. So let's do the porridge question. And that is today's tough question, brought to you by Andy Mason Real Estate. Go to andymasonrealestate.com. Best service prices in the biz in East Tennessee, with service for over 40 years there in the Knoxville area. So the porridge question is that too low, too high, or just about right? What say you, Caleb Calhoun? And then we'll go over some of the teams right in front of the Vols and just behind the Vols.
Well, before we start, let's be fair here. Let's get this out of the way. This is not a subjective list. This is 247 Sports doing their composite recruiting rankings, and they are basically averaging out the recruiting score of everybody on teams' rosters, including transfers, walk-ons, whoever, based on what their high school rating was.
And I think you may have said subjective, but you mean this is an objective list, right? It's just numbers.
This is an objective list. It is not subjective. This isn't like, I think Tennessee's the 16th. No. They tracked the ratings of every single high school football player that is on every team's roster, and they use that to do a composite rating. This is the most accurate, if you want to say, recruiting rating you could possibly have, is where they are right now with this. So I think in that scenario, this makes total sense to me. I mean, we're looking at Tennessee. We're still talking. Tennessee is still playing one class short, if you think about it, Dave. I mean, I know they've added transfers, but that 2021 class has 4 players remaining. And when you take that into account, they didn't get a highly touted 2022 class. 2023 is their only top 10 class of the last. Well, 2020 flirted with top 10, and 2023 was top 10. But they lost a lot of 2020 guys. They've added some transfers, but they haven't added. I'd say they've added like what? How many transfers have they added since Heupel showed up that you would say were 4 stars in high school? 7, 8? I mean, we're talking Milton, Hooker, and Hooker's not even.
I could do it real quick. Milton, Hooker, McCoy, Healy, maybe. I don't know if he was a 3 or 4 star, but he would be right on the verge, I would think, of a 4 star. Thornton, I would think, would have been a 4 star coming out of.
He was a 4 star.
So yeah. I would say roughly 6, maybe 8.
Right. I agree. And remember, Hooker's gone now. So that's one of the ones that they lose already. So
I thought you meant just in general. Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. And so when you look at that, it makes sense. And for the record, they were 19 last year. And we've said from the start that we believe Josh Heupel in Tennessee, Josh Heupel is going to coach Tennessee above its talent level and its composite talent rankings. So what this tells me more than anything, I don't think it's too low or too high. I think it's just right. I think it's too low in the sense of I think Tennessee is going to be better than 16th. If that's what you're telling me, yes, because I think Tennessee is always going to be better than its composite talent ranking. What I do read into it, though, is it says that Tennessee's not ready to compete for a national championship just yet.
Okay, where does Tennessee have to get for you to believe they're able to compete for a championship? Because I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I look at some of the schools above them, and Tennessee has got better coaching than those guys, and that's worth a win or two from year to year. I mean, I like their coaching more than Florida, who's at 15. I like their coaching more than Penn State at 13. Miami is at 12. And by the way, a lot of times those, as good as Dade County is, and you've heard me say that before, a lot of times those guys are higher rated because they're from Dade County. A 3 can be a 4 and so on. I think they've got better coaching than Oklahoma. I think they've got better coaching than Texas, which is 6. I think they've got better coaching than Clemson, even though they don't have really the track record to prove it. Better coaching than A&M. So those two schools are 4 and 5, respectively. So let me just run down the schools. Alabama 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Texas A&M 4, Clemson 5, Texas 6, LSU 7, Southern California 8, Oklahoma 9, Oregon is 10, Notre Dame 11, Miami 12, Penn State 13, Michigan 14, Florida 15, then Tennessee at 16. If you factored in coaching in this list, where would you have the Vols?
If I factored in coaching, I would have them probably number. I mean, let's see. I mean, I'd have him as high as like 6, honestly. Like if I factored in coaching, I think so. But to win a national championship, I think their talent has to be top 10. They don't have to be top 5, but they have to have top 10 talent if they're going to win a national championship. And then Josh Heupel can coach the top 10 talent into the number 1 team. I don't think it's possible to coach the 16th ranked team talent-wise into the number 1 team. I don't think that's humanly possible.
Okay, but we also have to look at this too of some of these guys, and we always talk about this in the NFL draft. There are more 3 stars than 5 stars. Well, there are more 3 stars overall. But what about not just scheme, but coaching up guys? Because Jalen Hyatt was a 3-star guy. That's not a 3-star talent. That was just a bad grade.
He was fringe 4-star. He was a 4-star on Rivals.
Okay, well, I mean, but he was a 3-star according to the composite, and he comes out of a weird place. So how much of that is coaching guys up? Not just scheme, coaching guys up.
Coaching guys up does matter. I've said that for a long time. People have mistaken for a long time scheme versus coaching guys up, and I think there is a difference. I don't know if David Cutcliffe was the best schematic coach, but I mean, there was nobody better at coaching you up than preparing you for the NFL. Are we sure that Heupel coach? We're still not sure of this, though. Are we sure Heupel coaches guys up? And when I mean coaches them up, they will be great in the NFL, or does he just coach them up well for their scheme in college? I mean, look, we talk about the quarterback 3-step drops in the Heupel system. That's not the type of dropbacks they're going to be doing in the NFL.
Well, they're not going to be from the shotgun 99% of the time either. But Alontae Taylor, I think, is proof. I mean, ask me this question in a year, and I can give you a definitive answer when we see what Byron Young, Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, even though he was injured last year, ask me in a year, and I believe I can give you a definitive answer. I'm not going to say, give me 1 more year, Caleb. I think a year from now, we'll know if he coaches them up for the pros. But in terms of winning a championship, that doesn't really matter.
No, you're right. It doesn't. It matters about coaching them up for the scheme. But at that point, I still think it still comes down to the scheme. I don't think. Again, you've covered recruiting enough to know this yourself, Dave. Like, you can only coach up so much. I mean, how many teams win national championships without 3 top 10 classes in 4 years? I don't think anybody does.
Nobody. And Oregon's proof of that. They couldn't get the War Daddies in the middle, and they could get there, but there was only so much coaching. You can run people all over the place. If you're Chip Kelly, and you can do different things. And if you're Brian Kelly, you can get Notre Dame to the college football playoff. But can you really win a championship? No, not unless you have elite talent. So but as far as where they stand at 16 and the numbers that we're dealing with currently, let's play with those for a while. So you've got Florida at 15. Would you trade Tennessee's roster for Florida's right now?
Right now, would I trade Tennessee?
Always thinking.
No, because of the quarterback situation. I don't think Josh Heupel could. Graham Mertz would be horrible with Josh Heupel.
Yeah, I actually thought you'd jump on that one quicker. I thought the quarterback's the difference. So if they're that close, I'd rather have 2 quarterbacks that I think can play than a bunch that I think can't. Michigan, Penn State at 13 and 14. Watched them both play a lot last year. I think Tennessee is a more talented team. So I understand that this is objective, but I think they have more talent coming into this season than Tennessee. I think Tennessee has more talent coming into the season than those 2 teams.
I don't think Tennessee has more talent than Michigan. I think Michigan has, again, this is where you go to the quarterback situation. Michigan's quarterback is also a statue in the pocket, and that's the last. Josh Heupel can't have a statue in the pocket in his system. That's just not something he can do. So
would you take Tennessee or Michigan if they were playing Saturday instead of Tennessee, Virginia?
Michigan. I take Michigan. I think you'd have the Georgia situation. I still think, and so I think Michigan's a better team. I would take Tennessee's roster for Josh Heupel coaching, but because Josh Heupel has better personnel for his system right now. Again, Michigan doesn't have I would say they don't have the type of players that fit Heupel's personnel, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm going with Tennessee's roster with Heupel. But overall, I take Michigan.
But I got to be honest with you, I think you're selling Heupel short. I think he adjusted his system from Oklahoma to what he does now. And I also believe that he's going to have to adjust his system slightly from Hooker to Milton. I don't think they throw the same balls equally as well. So
no, but
I think you're discounting his ability to adjust.
Oh, I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying there needs to be a little bit of mobility. JJ McCarthy is a statue. I think Casey Clausen would beat JJ McCarthy in a foot race. And
I think JJ McCarthy. I think Casey Clausen would have success in Josh Heupel's offense.
I'm not so sure he would. I think there's got to be a level of quickness.
He reads quick, gets it out. He may get forced out of the pocket with the way he gets the ball out 2 or 3 times a game. I firmly believe that. Now it's going to be ugly, and he's going to throw it away as fast as he can, as well he should. But you just stop me when I run down the rest of the list, because I think you'll agree that the rest of the teams I'm going to mention do have more talent overall, top to bottom, than Tennessee. Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Clemson, Texas, LSU, Southern California, Oklahoma, Oregon, Notre Dame. I could probably, I don't know. Miami. What about those?
I'll stop you there. I'm with you. I've covered enough recruiting over the years too that South Beach kids are more. Their ratings are more inflated than usual, and I think
they get a star at birth.
They really do.
It's like Bobby Ray was born last Thursday. He's already a 1-star, and he's 4 years old. 4 days old.
Yeah, I think, and we've seen that play out. Miami's actually recruited well under Al Golden for a while. So I think that I don't think South Beach talent is there, but it is overrated. South Beach talent is and so that's a little bit different than where Tennessee recruits in-state. I think a lot of in-state Tennessee kids are overrated because of politicking and recruiting services. I think there is a look at what Miami did over a 20-year period with just Miami kids. And I think that's stuck in the mind of a lot of people, and they can't get it out of their mind.
If you include coaching, you have them at 6. I think that's right about where I would have them to. In that 6 or 7 range would be very debatable, because I think there's some really C+ coaching staffs on there. And I think Tennessee's an A+ coaching staff based off what I saw this year. They could always surprise me. I don't think they handled the Cooper Mays situation particularly well. So maybe I downgrade them after this year, but I think they're an A+ staff to this point.